Every year since about, I would say 1989, I write out a copy of this poem and I put it up somewhere near the Thanksgiving table. If it's at my house or if it's somebody else's house, or I've always brought it with me. You might not think it's a Thanksgiving appropriate poem, but I think it is, because it's really about the people and the angels and the animals and God coming together, and our relationship with God and how we might have fallen out of favor. There's still a lot of beauty in it, and I think the poet really brings that out at the end. You get to see that, you get to see a God that's really whimsical and somebody that wants to be understood. Not just, a guy in a long robe, wielding his power because he can. He really, it's like he has human qualities, or we have godly qualities, and it's a very synergistic poem. It combines nature, evolution, and the spiritual religious part of that whole Adam Eve story. And I think a lot of the feelings and emotions in it are very applicable to everyday life. Lamentations by Louise Glück. 1. The Logos. They were both still, the woman mournful, the man branching into her body. But God was watching. They felt his gold eye projecting flowers on the landscape. Who knew what he wanted? He was God and a monster. So they waited, and the world filled with his radiance, as though he wanted to be understood. Far away, in the void that he had shaped, he turned to his angels. 2. Nocturne. A forest rose from the earth, oh pitiful, so needing God's furious love. Together they were beasts. They lay in the fixed dusk of his negligence. From the hills wolves came, mechanically, drawn to their human warmth, their panic. Then the angels saw how he divided them, the man, the woman, and the woman's body. Above the churned reeds, the leaves let go a slow moan of silver. 3. The Covenant. Out of fear, they built a dwelling place, but a child grew between them as they slept, as they tried to feed themselves. They set it on a pile of leaves, the small, discarded body wrapped in the clean skin of an animal. Against a black sky, they saw the massive argument of light. Sometimes it woke. As it reached its hands, they understood they were the mother and father. There was no authority above them. 4. The Clearing. Gradually, over many years, the fur disappeared from their bodies, until they stood in the bright light, strange to one another. Nothing was as before. Their hands trembled, seeking the familiar. Nor could they keep their eyes from the white flesh on which wounds would show clearly, like words on a page. And from the meaningless browns and greens, at last God arose, his great shadow darkening the sleeping bodies of his children, and leapt into heaven. How beautiful it must have been, the earth, that first time, seen from the air. There's such an interesting part of it here, and that is in the first part of it, the Logos. God is a lowercase g, and he's down here on earth with the man and the woman. And he's projecting flowers on the landscape, and he's filling the world with his radiance as though he wants to be understood. He's very whimsical, and he's kind of frustrated, and, he embodies these qualities that we don't really think about God as having. First of all, we don't think of him, typically in lowercase. We don't think of him as down here with us, and we don't think of him as playing games and really just taking pleasure in what he's doing, and I love that. Because he does that at the very beginning, and then at the very end, how beautiful it must have been, the earth, that first time seen from the air, where he gets to shoot up and take a look at what he's done. I think it's so exciting to, God has a personality.